One of my favorite topics, guys. If you guys follow me on Instagram, you know this topic comes up a lot on my timeline or on my stories, which is literally Kunyaza. And today we've got an amazing guest here with us. We've got Habeeb Akande, and he wrote a whole book, guys. A whole book on Kunyaza. Kunyaza, the secrets to female pleasure, and I'm so excited to interview him, discuss it a little bit, let us learn a little bit about Kunyaza and see whether our knowledge is up to date, and let's see what else we can add to that. So welcome, Habeeb.
Thank you for having me. How are you?
I'm well. Come a bit closer to the mic, don't be shy. Yeah, so for the audience that don't know you, just have a little bit of an introduction as first.
Sure. So my name is Habeeb Akande. I'm a sex educator and sex researcher. I'm also the author of 6 books. My latest book is called Kunyaza, The Secret to Female Pleasure, which is basically a book which explores an ancient African technique called Kunyaza, which is a heterosexual practice which facilitates female ejaculation, also known as squirting. It's an ancient practice, like I mentioned, that's been practiced for hundreds of years. It started in Rwandan, East Central Africa, but it's also practiced in other parts of Africa like Uganda, Kenya, Burundi, and even where I'm from originally in parts of Nigeria and Ghana as well. So the reason why I wanted to write this book, because I not only wanted to acknowledge and celebrate an ancient African technique, but one which the onus is on satisfying women. I think especially in this society in the West, where sex is kind of seen as a performative act where women should satisfy men. I was astounded to come across a culture and a practice where the onus is on the man to make sure that his female partner is satisfied, and ultimately her pleasure comes first. And I think there's a lot of things that us in the West can learn, especially given that much of our sexual education comes from pornography, which is, I would say, miseducation, whereas you've got a practice and technique, shall we say, to the pleasure and experience climax. So for me, it would, again, an empowering practice which both men and women can benefit from. I think it's also good that we've got a practice from our continent in Africa, the motherland, which many other cultures can kind of hear and learn from, because we always, I mean, especially as Africans, if I was to ask generally people, what do you think about when you hear African sexual practices? Many people might say, oh, FGM, or women being oppressed and things like that. And unfortunately, these practices do happen in some parts of Africa, but you've also got a female positive or pleasure positive practice, which is empowering women, and is also teaching men how they should be patient and attend to women's desires. So again, that's why for me, Kunyaza is a beautiful practice. And you've got many African women who are known as singers, who traditionally teach this practice to women and girls in preparation for marriage.